Okay, Mr. Orchard Supply Hardware.
Uh-huh.
Does Orchard have brands?
Of course.
Do you have Benjamin Moore?
Yes.
Craftsman?
Mm-hmm.
Weber?
Yep.
Kohler?
Absolutely.
Okay, how about Spiny Beetle?
Spiny beetle?
It's plumber's putty from Tasmania.
No, sorry.
That I totally made up.
Orchard Supply Hardware has the brands you and your home need. Come see at the happiest grand opening ever, May 20th and 21st at our new Belmont store. Orchard, home, hardware, and happiness.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, folks. How are you doing? Oh, let me just get this little stretch out here. And I do have my tea right next to me as I'm about to speak to some handsome young men about the work they're doing. And that's all I'm going to say, because as I usually do before a show, I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in Harlem, in addition to what we're going to talk about later, and what's trending on the site. And that site is harlemworldmag.com. I'm Danny Tisdale, and we're listening to the Danny Tisdale Show. Well, it's 45, 46 sunny degrees in Harlem. Eat your heart out, rest of the world, wherever you may be listening. But what's trending on the site, harlemworldmag.com, is the Harlem Business Alliance Gala with Lisa Price, Marcus Samuelson, and many, many others. This was at Mist. Last week or week before last, the photographers were there holding it down, taking great photographs. We also, on the site, have an incredible story that was in Vanity Fair on Reverend Sharpton and the upcoming election. Should be quite interesting election, and of course the article is. We also posted a announcement of the Jackie Robinson movie by Ken Burns that's going to be at the Schaumburg coming up, but also an announcement of Ebony Carrington as the new CEO of NYC Health Hospitals in Harlem. You know, Harlem is going on, and it's always, as it always is, it's going on. And you can find out what's going on at harlemworldmag.com. Also, checking us out on Twitter at twitter.com/HWMag, and also on Facebook. 2 sites, not just one, 2 sites. And that's the first one is HWMag, which is the site that I host, and also our Harlem History page, which is our fastest growing site that we have, and they're all on Facebook. And before we get started with our 2 gentlemen that are going to talk about the Real Estate Board of New York annual event, and they're calling all New York City and especially Harlem house hunters, because we have today 2 chairs from the Real Estate Board of New York's Upper Manhattan Committee, and that's Brian Phillips, who's from Douglas Elliman Real Estate, and also Charlie Lewis, who is from Warburg Realty. And on Sunday, April 10th and the 17th, the Real Estate Board of New York and its Upper Manhattan Committee will host its 216 Uptown Open House Expo, and it's all access is free to the public. It's a public event where potential home buyers can conveniently view dozens of the hottest uptown Manhattan residential listings to be found in this 2-day event. Harlem house hunters will have the opportunity to learn about and explore through a self-guided tour exclusive co-ops and condos and townhouse listings in Harlem, East Harlem, Central Harlem, West Harlem, and I think also Washington Heights. Before I get exhausted, I want to welcome our 2 guests, Brian Phillips and Charlie Lewis. Thanks for being on the show, Brian and Charlie. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Thank you guys for being on. And this event sounds great. I know you've been doing it for a little while. I don't want to bite into my questions here, but thank you guys for being on the show.
Thank you for having us.
You know, and Brian, before we get, any further, I want to find out how and when and why the Uptown Open House Expo first started.
Well, we're in our 4th year, and it started 4 years ago as a way of getting consumers to see an array of of, as you mentioned, co-ops, condos, and townhouses over a 1 or 2 day period, right? So you can come out and see as much as possible. You're going to pick what's in your price range and just see what is available over a 1 or 2 day period. That's how it started a couple of years ago. It's a way, and by the way, REBNY, REBNY, stands for the Real Estate Board of New York, and it's a trade organization that governs 17,000 member agents and sharing 10,000 listings daily. And I also want to add that the whole point of this expo is not just for REBNY support as member agents, but to also encourage sellers to list with a REBNY agent. Because when you do that, you're going to ensure your listing will be shown by other brokers, and also the commission will be shared as well.
That's fantastic, and it sounds like the organization is really doing great work. Matter of fact, it more than sounds like it. You're doing great work because this event has, in some ways, at least for me, really put Harlem and our great brownstones on the map, and obviously the real estate industry has paid attention. So, Charlie, I know that you two are co-chairs on the board. Why are you two doing this kind of work instead of just staying at home and getting your rest and relaxation on a Saturday or a Sunday, or this is what you do, and this is how you do it?
Well, I think the reason why we are involved is because we're active brokers in the area. We care about Harlem, Washington Heights, and Inwood, and all things Upper Manhattan. We want to make sure that the neighborhood itself is really highlighted in a way that is unique to New York. Harlem is a very special place for a lot of people worldwide.
That's right.
There are so many things to highlight, from the historical past of Harlem with jazz and the arts and the culture that it possessed to what it is today from an architectural standpoint and all of the new restaurant scene, the food scene. There's just so much to do, and it really is kind of the pulse of the city now. I've been in New York for over 20 years, and I've seen really Harlem change. It's getting better and better by the day. A lot of people, you have a lot of people who've been coming to the neighborhood, but we really get to be able to highlight and showcase the neighborhood in a different way. And as co-chairs of the REBNY, Real Estate Board of New York, of Upper Manhattan, we have different panels and different discussions so people can see exactly what's going on, and then the type of housing that's available in the neighborhood. So it is a great organization for us to be involved in. It really gets for us to showcase the neighborhood and for people to really see what we have to offer.
Charlie, I wanted to ask you I was going to say a couple of questions because as I told you guys that I know there was going to be additional questions as I have my list of questions, and so here it is broadening out. As far as, and I got the inside word, REBNY, right? REBNY, I heard that.
REBNY.
Can anyone be a member of REBNY, or do you have to be a licensed board member, real estate broker to be a member?
All companies, as Brian just stated, there are over 17,000 real estate board members. Most of them are affiliated through our company. So like Douglas Elliman, Warburg Realty, Corcoran, Halstead, there's a fee that you pay to become a member of REBNY. So most of them are real estate brokerage firms. Some are attorneys because, as you know, in New York City, if you're a licensed attorney, you can automatically sell real estate. So a lot of attorneys that might have smaller firms might have their membership also to REBNY. So it behooves you to be a member of REBNY because then you therefore have the benefits of being able to showcase your listings across the city. It brings the exposure for most sellers, and a lot of sellers don't understand that. I think that's key. It brings the visibility for your listing to the masses. If you do not go with a REBNY firm, then you are only showcasing your listing to the people who see it on the street if your firm has just a mom and pop store.
Right. In order to be in the Expo, this is Brian speaking. In order to be in the Expo, you have to be a revenue member agent. Right. And I can't tell you how many times I've shown non-revenue member agents listings, and after my customer gives me an offer, I don't get a call back. So that won't happen with a revenue agent because we're governed by the real estate board. We're governed by revenue. So, yeah.
Right. That makes complete sense. But I never knew that if you were an attorney, you can automatically be a member.
Yeah, I mean that's just one of the benefits of being an attorney in New York. You can actually you can sell real estate. I mean, but
I'm telling you, that's a good one.
Yeah, no, you can sell real estate, but you still have to pay your fee in order to belong to a revenue, which is the trade organization.
Of course, you have to pay your fee.
Yeah,
we don't want those fees not paid. Let me say. With the upcoming event on the 10th and the 17th, Brian, who can really attend that event? Anyone or anyone looking for a house? Is it the public, the industry?
The public.
Tell us a little more about that.
Not just the industry, but everyone can attend the Expo. It's for the public. It's a free event for the public, so everyone can come.
That's fantastic. And I know I'm going to miss this breakfast, and it sounds fantastic. Can you tell us a little bit about who will be at the meet and greet?
Well, the meet and greet puts a friendly face on the event, and basically it's going to be a bank sponsoring, and it will have some speakers in the community talking about Charlie. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, there's you're going to have Curtis Archer. He's the president of the Harlem Community Development Corporation. Curtis Archer. He's the president of the Harlem Community Development Corporation. We're going to also have Martin Collins. He's the co-founder of the Uptown Art Stroll and assistant manager. He's also a veteran of business at Washington Heights and Inwood Development Corporation. Along with him, you're going to have Zachary Cousins. He's a real estate travel reporter for the New York Post, who recently just bought a one-bedroom condo in a conversion up in Washington Heights. Also, too, we're going to have Angie Hancock. She's going to be there, and she's going to just give an overview of Harlem and Washington Heights at the beginning of the breakfast. It's a free breakfast. You're going to receive the neighborhood guide with all the details of the listing, and you're going to be able to consult with any revenue expert residential broker that will be on site for the home buying process. So it's a great opportunity for everybody in the community to come out and really get a taste, a look-see, I call it a look-see taste of Harlem and Washington Heights.
Right, and although it's a self-guided tour, you'll have agents on hand at the meet and greet who'll be happy to escort you to the listings.
And so, that was Brian speaking, right?
Yes, that was me.
Yeah, Brian. So on the self-guided tour, there'll be a map that'll probably be in a brochure, and then you can walk to the different listings and check out the spaces and the venues on your own.
Yes, you're going to pick out what's in your price range. You may not be able to see everything in one day, but you pick out what's in your price range, and you go ahead and see it. Agent cell numbers will be there, so if you want to call ahead in advance, you can do that to confirm they're there.
So can you give me are there minimums well, I know there's no maximums in the price range. Can you give me some idea on the price ranges, Brian?
The prices range from $2 million up to $3 million plus for a townhouse. $200 for maybe a co-op, an HDFC, all the way to a townhouse, $3 million plus.
And I'm sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, there'll also be development on the tour. Development, not just condos, but new development as well. If you're interested in brand new development. Is that new for the event? We've had it every year. We've had it every year.
Huh.
No, I think this is Charlie. We have an array of different properties that you can see. So as Brian stated, the HDFCs, which are the income-restricted properties, they're the affordable units where you have minimum and maximums as far as what a buyer would be able to look at. They start probably in the 300s, and they probably go up to 500, 600,000.
I
know that sounds kind of odd for a lot of people in New York. That's affordable, but it really comes down to the income requirements for that particular building. In each building, it's very different when it comes down to the income requirements. And then you have, your co-ops and your condos that range from that same amount, $300,000, up to, $2 to $3 million. Some of them are on the park. Some of them, and Harlem has an array of. They have 6 different parks basically. Jackie Robinson Park. You have Mount Morris. Morningside, St. Nicholas, even Central Park and Morningside Park, and then on the east side you have Thomas Jefferson Park. So there are a lot of great properties to see throughout. There's a lot of green space in the city. In the neighborhood. So that really gives the added value of what you come when you come uptown and what you get to take a look at. Also, too, there's an app that we will have through Experience Harlem that you would be able to showcase all the properties. So you're going to be able to map out your day. We're going from 12 to 5, so that's a long period of time. And you can really straight, go from there.
So I want to come back to the app in a second, but guys, I want to take a quick station ID. There, you are listening to the Danny Tisdale Show, and of course, I'm Danny Tisdale, and you're listening to Harlem World Radio, and you can check us out on Twitter at twitter.com/HWMag, and on Facebook at, of course, Facebook HWMag, and of course at HarlemWorldMag.com. And we're talking about the app. That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about the app. Brian, and Charlie, is the app new for this year? I know you've been doing this for 4 years. Is this new this year, or you've always had the app?
Well, it's new. This is the first time, and it's been one of those things we've been playing back and forth, trying to make it really work and make it very convenient for the participants that come.
Right.
So, with just increased technology, it allowed us the opportunity to really pinpoint our needs and wants and how to really make the tour easy for the end user.
Right.
And so the app was developed by Experience Harlem. You can go to that you can go to the App Store and download that, and it has all the listings, everything that you will find in the brochure as well. So if you missed the if you missed the breakfast, you can still come out and be able to see exactly.
And the app is from experienceharlem.com, right, Charlie?
Right. Mm-hmm.
ExperienceHarlem.com. That's Angie's.
That's Angie's website.
Okay.
Great. But in the App Store itself, it's just Experience Harlem.
Fabulous. Sounds great. And the app is always needed. And so I wanted to move forward as we get down to our almost last 12 minutes here. Where would the event be held? Because I know that you guys are going to pick me up in a limo and have my chauffeur and everything, and hopefully the breakfast will be in there too. But where would the obviously, I'm joking. Where would the event be held, guys, so that people listening or traveling can know before they get here where it's going to be?
Well, for the Harlem meet and greet, it's actually Sunday, April 10th.
Thank you.
From 10 to 11:30. That will be held at the Row House Restaurant at 2128 Frederick Douglass Boulevard, which is on the corner of 115th Street. So the attendees can take the B or C subway lines to 116th and then just walk over a block, or they can take the 2-3 train to 116th Street and walk over 2 blocks there to Lenox Avenue. The meet and greet and the attendees will be able to explore then. The open house is from 12 to 5, spanning from East Harlem, Central Harlem, and West Harlem. The sponsor for that particular event is Citibank. And of course, you can walk, you can ride, you can have your bicycle, you can come with a group of people. I always find
skateboard,
people come, skateboard, whatever is going to get you around. It's easy. I always see a lot of people get together as a group and they come up and they enjoy the breakfast. Then they go and they look at a couple of the houses and then they go to brunch. It's just a great
right. So they turned it into a proper event. It sounds like, which is great.
Exactly.
Right.
And then the following week.
There you go. That's exactly where I was going. Go ahead.
Yeah, then the following week in Washington Heights and Inwood, you have the meet and greet, which is Sunday as well. It's going to be held April 17th from 10 to 11:30. The sponsor of that particular event is First Republic Bank, and the location there will be the Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz Memorial and Education Center located at 3940 Broadway at 165th Street in Washington Heights. In the directions there, attendees can take the 1, the A, or the C subway line to 168th Street and then just walk down a couple of blocks. And then following that as well, the meet and greet will be from 12 to 5, and then they will be able to tour all the homes in Washington Heights and Inwood between 155th Street, to 218th Street, running from the Hudson River to the Harlem River.
All right, and if you missed all of that, you just go to the experienceharlem.com website, and it's all there.
Fantastic. Now, it sounds like there's a little bit of walking and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Just kind of from a practical side, what should I wear, Brian,
you should come
to the
casually.
event? Comfortable clothes or looking as fabulous as I can?
No, come just, the only people dressing up are the agents, I guess, looking to impress you. But you can come casually. If the weather's cool, of course, wear a jacket. But come casually. Come casually because it's for you. It's for the public. It's all about you.
So come as you are.
That sounds right. It's going to be a nice 46, 50 degrees. So that's a nice sunny day. So as casual as possible, but, you want to definitely get in as many units that you can see.
As possible. Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I know that the event is beneficial for, New York City home hunters, and whether it's their first time buying or they're already planning to move into the neighborhood. And this is also, it sounds like it's, is it for those working in the industry to see some other properties that they may not have seen before, or is it mostly just a public thing?
You might have some downtown agents who want to familiarize themselves with the Harlem market. So, yes, it's open to the industry as well, because that's a way of educating those agents who have customers who want to buy up in Harlem, Washington Heights. Mm-hmm. So it is open to the industry as well.
Okay. And I think, Brian, that was you speaking just now?
That was me, yes.
Okay, and Charlie, I wanted to ask you. Matter of fact, this is a question for both of you because I know how hectic, how busy, how challenging, and the competition is in real estate. Let me ask the question differently. What would you recommend for someone who wants to, who's listening to this interview and they want to follow in your footsteps? They could be in California, outside the United States. What tips would you give them, to being as successful as you two gentlemen have been and continue to do the great work that you do? What tips would you give someone listening who really wants to, follow in your loafers?
This is Charlie. I would say first thing is education and knowledge. One thing that I tend to do with my clients, and one thing that has been successful for me, is the fact that technology is in the marketplace today, and a lot of people feel as though they don't need a broker. So, what value do you add as a agent broker to the person that's looking to buy or sell? So, for me, it's getting them through the process. It's one of the most emotional purchases that you're going to ever make. It's the largest purchase that you're going to ever make in your life. And so you want to make sure that someone is buying something and you lay out the information. So information is key, education is key, and being able to have that knowledge so you can definitely understand what's going on. Also, too, I look at people that's coming to New York, and my business is set up basically from a lifestyle perspective. A lot of people buy in neighborhoods based on their lifestyle. So, for instance, a lot of people come to Harlem because they're very into the art or culture scene, or they really love the Uptown flavor that Harlem possesses. So that particular individual they have an affinity to that. They really want to do work, or they work at, Studio Museum or the Jazz Museum,
right.
or they're, that's their lifestyle, and they want to participate in their neighborhood and get active. So I'm all about studying the individual, making sure that the individual knows exactly what to expect with the purchase, the process itself, making sure that they have a good mortgage broker, a good attorney, and so therefore we can get them to close as quick as possible and as drama-free as possible. So those are the things that have worked for me.
That's important
in my business.
Okay, and Brian?
Yeah, I thought, Dan, your question was, what would I say to someone looking to get into the business? Is that what your question was?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the challenges, of course, that comes with that. And
right. I mean, you want to make sure you're in it for the long haul. I got into the business in 1997. I'm in my 19th year now, and I can't believe how the years flew by. And so, so I think I was in it for the long haul. I love sales. I love meeting people. Got to be a people person. I got to be willing to improve on self, because I was very shy at one time, and my goal was always to get better. And when I came over to Douglas Elliman in 1997, I immersed myself in the business even more so, with taking all these seminars and getting involved in revenue.
Self-improvement, right?
Yes. And so before you know it, you become a top producer. You put the time in, and you learn from your mistakes, because that's how without mistakes you can't be successful.
Right.
Eventually you become a superstar.
Well, and exactly, and that's where you guys are, and it's great speaking to you. And we're at our last, it looks like almost 4 minutes. And I wanted to use that question as a segue for the next questions. Where do you go? Matter of fact, let me ask you first, for both of you. Is there a website URL, just as I get to the last question, that our listeners can go to find out as much as possible about the upcoming open house?
Yeah, as I mentioned, URL, it's experienceharlem.com. Right? Yeah, it's the main place you'd go, and there's links from there. You can
do a search then for Ribney from there.
Yeah, the listings on the experienceharlem.com website. There are links on that website.
Fabulous. And with our last few minutes left, guys, of course, I was going to ask you, what is your favorite place in Harlem? Where's your favorite place you like? I know it's tough, and I know you guys have probably looked at every corner and street, circle in Harlem. Where's your favorite place?
Well, I'm a veggie of 20 years, so I'm going to support my vegetarian spots, which is Uptown Juice Bar on 125th Street, Seasoned Vegan on St. Nicholas, and I shop always at Organic Forever on Frederick Douglass.
Nice list. And that was Brian. I think Charlie's next. Charlie?
That was Brian.
Charlie. Yeah. For me, Charlie.
Okay.
There are several spots for me. I think one of the favorite spots, it's a new spot to the neighborhood. It's called The Edge. It's on 139th and Edgecombe. Why I love that spot, because one, it's out of the way. Two, the vibe is typical Harlem. You will walk in there, they serve lunch. So they call it brunch all day, basically. And they have a great array of food choices. The owners are from, their background is Jamaican, and they're from London. So the menu has Jamaican dishes, London dishes, and then they call it also New York dishes. And it's very great food, good lunch spot, and good brunch spot, and good dinner. They also have a little jazz at night and different entertainers that come in. Also, my second spot, I definitely would say, would be Boulevard Bistro. That's great Southern food, great Southern cuisine.
Okay.
They do a great job on Lenox and 122nd Street. Carlos is the chef there. He does an excellent job. And then Barrel Wine. There are several other places, on Lenox and 121st Street. You still have the old Melba's. Those are great spots to hang out and just really veg out. But I think as far as from an just relaxing, I love the green space in Harlem. I love the parks. I love Sunday sermon in the parks in the summertime.
Nice.
And,
that's right.
that's headed up by, Norman DJ.
Right.
And he does that in Morningside Park and in St. Nicholas Park. And then Jazz at Night, you got Jen Fizz, you got Jenny's. There's so many things to do. And then such old staples like the American Legion, and stuff of that nature, or Paris Blues, when you just really want to see
nice music.
The guys come in and play jazz late at night when they leave the other venues, and they come in and they'll do a set. So it's so much. And then, of course, you have like the Cecil and Mint.
Guys, I got to stop you. I don't want to, but thank you for being on the show, and I'm going to be reaching out to you in seconds. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Bye.
Okay, Mr. Orchard Supply Hardware.
Uh-huh.
Does Orchard have brands?
Of course.
Do you have Benjamin Moore?
Yes.
Craftsman?
Mm-hmm.
Weber?
Yep.
Kohler?
Absolutely.
Okay, how about Spiny Beetle?
Spiny beetle?
It's plumber's putty from Tasmania
No, sorry.
that I totally made up.
Orchard Supply Hardware has the brands you and your home need. Come see at the happiest grand opening ever, May 20th and 21st at our new Belmont store. Orchard, home, hardware, and happiness.
Okay, Mr. Orchard Supply Hardware.
Uh-huh.
Does Orchard have brands?
Of course.
Do you have Benjamin Moore?
Yes.
Craftsman?
Mm-hmm.
Weber?
Yep.
Kohler?
Absolutely.
Okay, how about Spiny Beetle?
Spiny beetle?
It's plumber's putty from Tasmania
No, sorry.
that I totally made up.
Orchard Supply Hardware has the brands you and your home need. Come see at the happiest grand opening ever, May 20th and 21st at our new Belmont store. Orchard, home, hardware, and happiness.